Hey there, it's Tanya Smith, and I'm super excited that I get to be here with you on my weekly live stream episode. So tonight I'm going to answer a question that was asked by one of our fans in our Facebook page. And the fan question had to do with where should I go live? So I thought, you know what, to demonstrate this one this time, let's go live in all of the Facebook places. And she was specifically asking about Facebook group or Facebook page. But there's a third one, a third option that a lot of people tend to use, and that's their personal profile as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the ins and outs of that. As I mentioned again, my name is Tanya Smith, and this is Get Noticed with Video Live. We have a website over at getnoticedwithvideo.com. I would hope that you will take the time to definitely come and like and subscribe to our channel. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook. And tonight, again, I'm going live in multiple places on Facebook. In addition to that, I want to make sure to reach out and say hello to my wonderful, incredible community, the video VIPs. So thank you so much for watching. And I see my OG. She knows what to do. If you're watching and this is your first time, type in hashtag newbie. If you're watching and you've been watching for some time, type in hashtag OG. And if you're a VIP in a VIP room, then you can also type in hashtag VIP, because I want to acknowledge you and let you know that I see you. Now, we have a lot of folks that have joined our community here recently. So let me just give you a really quick thing that will help you. If you would like to be acknowledged here, definitely make sure you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give permission so we can see your beautiful face and see your profile name, because I want to acknowledge you directly. Yes, I do see some VIPs. I see my newbie, Brenda. It's wonderful to see you. I know we just recently connected, so welcome. And then I see someone here who is a VIP. And the reason I can't see your name is because you probably need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and just give permission. So look, I am, yes, hey, woman, it's good to see you too. I'm always thrilled and excited when I get to do this. And tonight I added a space that I usually don't go live in. It's my Facebook personal profile. But part of the reason is because I wanted to drive home a couple of points as we talk a little bit about where should I post? So that was the question that was asked. And as a result of the person who asked the question, she asked the question based on me putting out a Q&A request on Friday, which is what I normally do. She's going to get our special little handy gift package. It's a gift set that allows you, including our little handy pen right here, that allows you to take notes from every video that we do, and you can store them all in one place. So I'm going to be sending out special goodie bags to those whose questions are selected for our weekly live. So thanks so much, Lindsay. It's wonderful. Yes, Donna, you've been missing me. I miss you too, lady. But I'm so glad you're here tonight. Awesome. The only other thing I'll do before we dive into our content and answer the question, where should I be going live, is I want to share that we have a book club that we've been engaging in every week inside of our Video VIPs community. It's free to join. And the book club for the next several weeks, so we're focusing on this every week in February, is called the Visual Sale. So we've been talking a little bit about the visual sale, and you'll see some little handy notes and comments and things that are coming up for us. And one of the things that came up for me in reading the first part of the book was a quote that said, "You are a media company." The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think that this is so relevant to what we're going to talk about tonight. And if you, by the way, are also in the Video VIPs community and you want to join in, at some point, I'm going to refer you to the link that you'll see in the VIP page for this post. And you're welcome to join on screen if you have a follow-up question or a comment in relation to what we're talking about, okay? So I'll be looking for those as well. Yes, Charlene, you've got to grab the book. You wanted the goodie bag. So make sure you ask a question so that we can see if you're going to be featured in our weekly live. And you may just end up getting a goodie bag. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, and good evening to you too, Charlene. Let's talk about our topic. So the question was, where should I be posting? Now, I'm going to tell you that the answer is, it depends. But I'm also going to give you the top 3 places and spaces that I would recommend posting if you are in a similar situation as myself. So I'm a service provider, and a lot of the folks that I work with tend to be consultants, coaches, trainers, authors, speakers, um, folks who are in a service industry, whether they do hair, all of that, right? Typically, what you're going to want to do is to focus on business objectives. And so if you want to be able to measure your success, the most effective way for you to measure success is, first of all, to set goals and know what it is you're trying to accomplish, but then to also be able to look at numbers. And the reason why I'm suggesting that is because as you think about the various spaces that you can post, and specific to Facebook, we can talk about some of the other platforms in a little bit too. But specific to Facebook, one of the things that you absolutely want to make sure that you are thinking about is, what's the purpose of me going live? So if you're a service provider and you're attempting and wanting to engage with potential clients as well as current clients, you want to be thinking about your branding. You want to be thinking about, again, those numbers and those metrics, like, how am I going to know if I'm successful with my live or not? I think a lot of times what we end up doing is we think, why don't I just start with my personal profile? Because I know people in that space and I feel safe there. So I'll tell you, for instance, I know that I was going live for a little bit in my personal profile. And here's a couple of things that I recognized. And by personal profile, I'm talking about your regular Facebook personal space. So not your business page and not your group. When you go live in that personal space, and I am doing that right now for purposes of our conversation tonight, you have to recognize that there's probably going to be a lot of people who really aren't there because they care about investing in your services and your programs and your products. They're there because they want to support you as a friend. Now, this does depend. So going back to my original answer, it depends on a couple of things. It depends on how you've built up your presence. So if you have consistently been using your Facebook personal space for business, first of all, I would caution you against that, because it is against the terms of use in Facebook for that to be something that's, your consistent and core thing that you're doing on your Facebook personal space. So I would caution you about that. But secondly, I can see where it might have been a comfort zone for you to begin, and you started in that space. And so you feel like, hey, this is where I built my audience, so this is where I'm going to stay. But I'm going to challenge you to think a little differently, because when you think about going live in your Facebook personal space, you have no real way, there's no accurate way to measure your success, because there are no insights or metrics tied to that. So think about that. You can't go into Facebook Insights for your personal space and see how many times did a person click to take an action based on your video. You can't measure how long people watch. There's a whole lot of things you cannot do. Now, on the plus side, I would say that, again, if it feels comfortable to you, I get it. But one thing you may want to consider is, how can I move people into a space where I know that they're there specifically to learn more about my content, my services, my programs, and my products, and they're willing to invest? Because here's what's happened, at least with my personal profile, and why I don't go live as often in this space. Again, I know that I have a lot of friends, family, having been a military couple previously and having traveled all over the world and moved a lot of times in our history as a family. We know a lot of folks, and we know them on a personal and social level, but they don't necessarily care about video content or marketing or business. And I still want to associate with them and know how life is going for them. and they want to know the same about me and the kids and the husband. And so I love creating that personal space and making sure that we have the conversations that are relevant to the people in that room, right? I'm calling it a room, my Facebook profile. Now, let's go to the second place. So another place on Facebook that you might be considering to go live would be your business page. And here's why that's a good thing. Because going live on your business page does several things for you. One is it helps to increase your brand credibility. So you're doing brand building when you're doing your live streams and your videos in a business setting. When you created your business page, not only does it help you with the brand building, but it also gives you an opportunity to be able to measure what's going on in that space. So you know, here's how many people are watching my videos. Here's how many people have signed up and taken a specific action as a result of the content I shared. Here's how many people are leaving. So you know when there are things that are going wrong and you can make adjustments, right? So you get access to so much more in terms of measuring your success and understanding where you need to make tweaks. So it is imperative that you think about, going back to the very first thing I mentioned, think about, what is my purpose? Why am I going live? Now, if I were going live for, again, for personal reasons or for something that I wanted to share with family and friends, that's one thing. But for me, on a weekly basis, I'm going live because I'm talking about business content. And that content is relevant and specific to the audience for which I am trying to engage. Groups would be the third space. So we've talked about your personal profile, we've talked about your business page, and we're also going to talk about your groups. So groups, why would you go live in a group? Well, there's a couple of things that go on here, and I want to make sure I cover my notes here because there's something specific that I wanted to share with you, and I'm going to do that in a second. But with groups, you have an opportunity for trust building. So we talked about brand building in business pages. Brand building is happening when people are not really quite aware of you, or maybe they're starting to hear a little bit about you. So for instance, when I do clubhouse events or do other types of events, maybe I'm speaking on a stage or something, one of the first places people are going to go is to my business page because they want to become more aware. They want more information, right, before they jump in with both feet. They want more info and intel before they decide, is she right for me? Is she right for my audience? I mean, for my pain points that I have going on, can she provide solutions that would help where I need the help? So brand building in your business page, but then in your groups, I want you to think of community and think of nurturing and think of trust building and credibility building. And here's what I am loving about this. And I was just talking with my girlfriend, Marusha Murphy, and a couple of other folks on Clubhouse this morning about this. What I love is that you get to create your community and your groups in the way that fits you the best. We talked about this because I am not an extrovert. In spite of the fact that you see me on video, that's not my thing. I'm an introvert. I'm a cave dweller. I don't mind being by myself and not being surrounded with people all the time and not constantly talking. I like processing things inwardly, and my energy is drawn from within. So my group tends to be a space for me that is very intimate. My group is a space where I am very careful about creating gateways so that there are questions, for instance, that people answer, and they can come into the space once they've answered and responded to those questions. And we all have agreed to make sure that it's a sacred space where we are respecting each other, and they're there to learn video content. The reason why I bring this up is because if you're broadcasting live inside of a group, you want to be thinking about what your intentions are. And for me, in creating that group space to go live, It allows me to meet with people on a deeper level. So you heard me a little bit ago saying, look, if you're in the Video VIPs community, you have access to come on screen. And I've learned to do that because opening up access to everyone, including my YouTube and Twitter audience, can create some unintended chaos because you don't really know those people. So for me, being the introvert that I am and the way in which I choose to build community, I really want to get to know people on a deeper level versus a broader level. I hope this makes sense, okay? And because of that, it's important to me to know that I've vetted the folks that are going to be coming on screen and that are part of my real community first. And I'm acknowledging you in a much different, deeper way. And so that creates this nurturing and bonding relationship that we have in the group that creates opportunities for me to really, really answer questions that you need help with and give you exactly what it is you need. So think about the difference between that as a space versus your business page as a space. You could do some of those things in a business page, but it's not going to necessarily go as deep as you might in a group where you're building community. So here's what I choose to do when I go live. I go live in both the business page, and this is specific to Facebook. I go live in the business page because of the brand building piece. But I also simultaneously go live in the group because of the community and trust building piece. Okay. Now, if you again have built your personal profile, so you have community and you have engagement and you have business prospects even inside of your personal space, you may do things differently, and that's not wrong. It's just you need to think about, okay, am I getting everything I need? Am I getting access to the information that I need in order to make those tweaks and changes and decisions about what I'm sharing in my live video? Because you're not going to have access to the metrics and the insights for your personal space, but you will in the other two spaces. Now, with groups, by the way, in case you did not know this, and Charlene, yes, group, that's my favorite. Yes. When you think about going live inside of your group, I would say that Facebook hasn't built out the most robust insights. They talked about last August some additional tools and things that were going to be launched. I haven't seen a lot of that yet, but there still are insights. There are reports that are available that show you, for instance, that give you the opportunity for you to look month to month, right? So every month, every week, and see what your member growth has been, what your engagement level has been. And these are important things as a content creator, as someone who is a media company. These are important things that you want to understand about your business because you want to know, am I going up or am I going down? Am I going down when I want to go up? Am I going up when I want to go down? You need to understand the interaction and how it is driving your success or driving you to fail. So I hope that these are giving some, yes, makes sense to use your business page to see the metrics. Yes. How can you go simultaneously? Oh, this is a great question. So here's how I go live simultaneously in both the business page and the group, Donna. So great question. How do I do that? Right now, in this moment, I'm going live in 5 places all at once. So I'm going live on my business page in Facebook. I'm going live on my personal space. I'm going live on my group. And I'm also live in YouTube and on Twitter. And I'll share in a few minutes why YouTube. But I have built my brand and my specific video content strategies around Facebook because of all of the potential for integration between the spaces where I go live, the community that I build in the group, as well as the advertising capabilities. All of that's right here in Facebook, which is why I choose this to be my specific place. And yes, Charlene, 5 places. Wow. So here's what I'm actually doing. I'm using a tool, Donna, called StreamYard. So if you're not familiar with StreamYard, it is my favorite, and I've used a lot, but it's my favorite streaming platform. It's what I use in order to get on video, get on camera, show these comments that I've been popping up, show the little scrolling ticker that you see at the bottom. If you want to test it out and do a trial, just go to that site, tanya.click/StreamYard, and test it out for yourself. But it's an amazing tool and it makes it super easy for you to go live. So I do a tutorial. I try to do one every month or every other month these days, teaching people how to use this tool effectively for your business. And if you've purchased it and you don't know what to do with it, I suggest you jump in or just go to my website at getnoticedwithvideo.com and check out the courses there, because there's a webinar replay that's available to you. All right, so that's what I do. I use that tool to go live in multiple places, and I'm seeing a lot of, yep, high fives for StreamYard. Yes, it is one of my favorite places to go. And Donna, yes, it gives you an opportunity to be able to well brand your videos. So you can see, for instance, what I'm doing. Like I have my raspberry pink color that many of you know me for now. I'm able to pull up the comments and display your beautiful faces and acknowledge you on a personal level, which is really important to me with Facebook Lives. So all of these things are doable when you use a third-party platform. What I mean by that, because I know I have some newbies, and Brenda, welcome again. So if you're new to live streaming and you don't know what I mean when I say that, you have an option to actually just go live from your phone or directly inside of what we call native Facebook or native YouTube. So you can just use their platform, those social media platforms, to directly go live from your phone. But what I choose to do is to use an app like StreamYard because it gives me extra features, right? And because it gives me that multi-streaming or multicasting capability, so that you, as I said, you see me going live in 5 different places. Now, here's a question. Part of the question that the young lady asked, that Lindsay asked, who's going to be getting our goodie bag, is what's the frequency? And for me, I would suggest that if you're just starting out, and really, when I just started out, I started going live 2 times a week because I was really challenging myself, but it got to be a bit much. And I know people that go live daily and that works for them. So here's what I would encourage you to do. I would encourage you to commit to at least once a week for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And then if you feel like you want to increase your time, your frequency, then certainly do that by all means. Personally, because of all the other things I'm doing and because I'm engaging with my coaching clients and all of that, we're also building out some new stuff, which I'm really excited about from an agency standpoint. I just go live once a week consistently. And then I also offer opportunities for my VIP community to get connected once or twice additional times a month in our office hours. So you need to think about realistically what makes sense for you and for your calendar. Don't overcommit. So from a frequency standpoint, you do not want to say, okay, I'm going to go live twice a day for every day for the next 30 days. That could be a lot, especially if you're an introvert like me. Yes. And yes, Charlene said, get the office hours. She's right. You should be on my office hours. And the only way you get access is if you're in the Video VIPs community. Meanwhile, I will wrap this up by talking a little bit about YouTube and talking about Twitter. So the reasons why I decided to expand my audience beyond Facebook, although that is my center, that's my core right now, is because I realized as well that there are significant opportunities for you to go live on YouTube and to build your channel, right? Although it's slower for me to build it in this way, meaning that I'm only doing live video, there are so many opportunities for YouTube to be used as a search engine as people are looking for how-to videos and educational videos and that type of content. If that's what you're delivering, YouTube is an excellent platform for you to do that. LinkedIn Live is also, from what I understand, because I haven't been approved yet for whatever reason, but LinkedIn Live is also a space where you can actually go live if you're approved, because they still are in beta and they have been for a long time now. But it's a great space if you have corporate or company focused, organizational focused, career focused content, right? Anything that's of a professional nature. I, again, really, really love the Facebook space and the YouTube space because I just feel like it's more fun. Like, I like interacting with all of you. I'm seeing this. Look, so Bridget says, introvert, what the what? Girl, yes, all day, every day. And Steven says the same thing. Introvert, I doubt that. Thank you for the compliment on the stream. Yeah, I mean, hey, you do what you got to do. And this is a wonderful comfort zone for me now because I have built a habit out of going live. So going back to kind of recap the answer to the question was, where should I go live? Should it be group? Should it be business page? And then I added in the personal profile. I would highly suggest that you think about a couple of things. You need to ask yourself, who is my intended audience? I'm actually creating a workshop now called MVV, Most Valuable Viewer. You want to be thinking about who is the viewer that I want to be in front of the screen, seeing my content and engaging and consuming the information that I share. Because depending on your topic of expertise, it could be an audience of different types of people, right? But it's so much easier for you to create content consistently when you know who it is you're talking to. So think about your audience. I want you to think also about, what is the type of content that I talk about? What do I deliver? Because that's going to help you to determine as well where you play when it comes to video. And then finally, I want you to think about what we mentioned earlier, which is, what is the purpose and how can I measure if I'm successful or not? Because if there is no way for you to measure and to know, personal profile, personal space, you won't know, then it may not be the best for you. So one of the things you can consider, if you are currently building in your personal space, but you want to try to move and shift things over to your business or group, one thing you can consider is certainly to just try going live in your business page, right? And when you go live in your business page, share the link over, even if you don't have a third-party platform like StreamYard, which we're using now. Share the link to your business page video over in your personal space and let people know, like make an announcement and say, hey, I'm going live on my business page over here. And I hope that you'll come and join me because I'm looking to build a professional community on my new page, right? Give people an invitation. Those who really need to be there will be the ones that will come. Don't worry about that whole fear of missing out. The people that need to be in your space, seeing and consuming your content will show. They will eventually be there, even if it's not today and it's not next week. The more consistent you are, the more you'll build the audience. And the more clear you are on what you talk about and who you serve, that's when those people show up. You just have to give of your best whenever you're on film, even if nobody's watching, because you never know who's checking out your replay. So I hope these tips have helped you. I'm checking to see if there are any questions or comments here that I missed. And if you are in the video VIPs room and you want to jump on screen and ask a question, I know I saw somebody pop up early on, but we hadn't gone into the content yet, and I wanted to make sure to do that. Yes, Charlene, be clear and be consistent, which you know all about because you're a media queen, girl. And Bridget said, if you're a scaredy cat like me, create a Facebook private group as your practice studio. And here's another tip too, as per Bridget's note right here, what you can do, if you do practice videos in your Facebook Live, here's something that you can do. And I teach this in a couple of different courses that I deliver. You are actually able to do a private Facebook Live, even from your personal profile. What you just have to do is when you go into your native platform, so you know how you go to a post and you say, hey, I want to post a Facebook Live, you can change the audience to only me. Only me is an option because that gives you a chance to really get familiar with the Facebook administrative dashboard so that you can see, hey, here's where all the buttons are. You can make all your mistakes. Nobody else can see it until you make it public. So that's a tip as well. And it's so true. Dr. Missy said, you never know who's watching. It's so true. There's so many times I could share so many stories with y'all where I was like, oh yeah, there's nobody here, but I still performed. I still gave everything that I could based on the topic that I had selected. And then a week or two later, somebody pops up and says, hey, I was just checking you out. And I noticed you talked about this. Can you come and talk to our group? Can you come and do the speaking engagement? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do a workshop? So these are the types of things that come when you stay consistent and you make sure that you're clear on what your expertise is, your audience, who your audience is, and you understand when you're being successful and when things are not going so well, because you put in the time and you're properly doing your videos in a space where you can measure that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I've done the private video. I love the only me option. Yes. Donna says, thank you. This was wonderful. Okay, I see my girl. Yes, I'm bringing you to the room, Missy. I'm about to bring you in here, Charlene Day.
Hi. I'm on my laptop, so I was like, I was not expecting not to have a green screen. I thought everything was going to be perfect. I'm like, I hope I'm not going to really be seen. But anyway, hi, Tanya. I haven't seen you in a long time, so this is my way to say hi and ask more questions.
Hi, beautiful. It's wonderful to see you. And yet, you know what? You can turn off your video if you want to, but you don't need to. You're always gorgeous.
Oh no, I'm not gonna. See, this is how you learn, guys. You got to jump in there. I'm like, how do you get just right? Okay, there we go. Is that right? Okay.
We're moving. Let's see. We can move you over a little bit. Let me see if I can do it that way.
Oh,
That'll
there it
get us.
is. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yay! I guess. This is weird.
Look,
You know what?
here's what's happening.
We're just gonna leave it right there.
There we go. Now you're centered a little bit more. There you are. Okay, what's up, lady? What's your question?
Oh, so I have a question. Can you talk to us about scheduling our videos? I know some people are new to this, and I'm just starting to write out a schedule for February, even though we're like in the middle almost of February. Can you talk to us about building out or writing out that schedule for February?
That's a really, really good question. So I will share a little bit about what I do, but I think scheduling really can be different for everybody. So let me ask you this question as a follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer to do, like, how do you keep track of where you're going, what you're doing right now? Do you use a calendaring system at this moment?
I write it out like you told me before.
Mm-hmm.
I just write it out in a notebook and I
Okay.
decide what the topics are going to be.
Okay.
But I haven't actually, pre-scheduled. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about pre-scheduling all my videos is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Versus doing them live.
So what we may do, because scheduling and creating an editorial calendar could be a whole topic by itself. So I'm going to give a couple of quick hitter tips.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So one thing I would think through in terms of scheduling, this is the most important thing, because this is the thing where I think we easily fail.
Yes.
Is where I was talking about, don't be like, oh, I'm going to go live every day for every day of every week for the rest of 2021.
Right.
When you overcommit that way, you burn out fast.
Right.
So you might be good to go for the first week and the second week even, but by week 3, you're like, this is for the birds.
Right.
I'm tired. I don't want to get on live. So
That would
one thing to think through is realistically, if you could pick one day of the week and
mm-hmm.
1 hour of that day
Mm-hmm.
every week for the next 90 days, where
Yes.
you know you're not going to have distractions, you don't have commitments to the kids, to the
Yes.
partner, you don't have commitments, but you can dedicate that space. Pick that one time every week and schedule that as your go live time. And then as far as topics, again, we need to probably reserve a whole nother 30 minutes for that. But I'm going to give you a really simple formula that I use, but I do go way deeper on this, especially in my courses and coaching. One thing that you can think about, and this is simple math, is if you have 4 buckets of content, so 4 themes that are related to your core message that you deliver to people. If you have 4 buckets and you have 13 subtopics under every one of those 4 buckets, that's 52 weeks. So that's your whole year mapped out if you want to do things that way. And that is literally how I mapped out my entire year's worth of content for video, because I wanted to have a clear calendar ready to go for the content I wanted to talk about. But here's the caveat. What I changed up kind of in mid-year at late January, and Charlene, you'll get this because you're a creative. You're like a creative genius. I know this. I see you. One of the things I realized is that I was writing those topics and titles for my videos based on what I thought I wanted to talk about. And I was forgetting about my audience and the people that I serve. So what I decided to do is to use that as my backup plan. So I have that calendar ready to go in case I run out of ideas. But I decided that every Friday I'm going to put that Q&A out. So on my Facebook page, I'll put an open Q&A and I'll say, hey, I'm answering questions for the next 24 hours. If you put your question in here and it gets selected for my live stream, you get your goodie bag. So what I'm getting now, I believe, are going to be more relevant questions like the one we answered tonight, more questions that are relevant to the people who are watching. So as I'm filling their needs and they're also helping me, they're like a mini R&D, a research and development department.
Wow, that is so good. Like I've been using your tips, so shout out. I have taken the VIP stuff, but I've been using it, and I'm like, okay. So now I just did a question that I am going to break down into video series. I actually asked it on my Facebook page, and I got a lot of response. And I'm building out my main page seriously. So yeah, I'm taking those tips. So you get to see some nice things. So I'm really excited, but I have been
So
like,
can you share your Facebook page, please, ma'am?
oh, absolutely. It's Charlene E Day, as in Eleanor E for Eleanor Day. Yep. Charlene E Day. And on Instagram is Charlene E Day. So you'll see a lot of hiya. In the
Ah,
next, yes, by next week, you'll start seeing that, because I'm like, you got to start now. Just working on a project, have the book project that's coming out as well. So got to do more video. Just got to do more video. More people need you, and this is where I'm at right now. And I'm like, it's time to go, 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 go. And I just said, you just don't want to be too sporadic. And I think some people are just afraid to go, Tanya. And you taught us that in your classes, is that, who cares if you mess up, right? And sometimes I get on the video and sometimes I don't. And most of my time has been spent in Clubhouse, where I've been, because those are my people, because I love international travel. So those are my people. And and I find that I'm like, I found my people, like
you
literally.
found your people. I can tell, and I know, and that's the thing. Even with video, is when you figure out who your viewer audience is and who your, I'm not going to say tribe, because I really do not I can't appreciate that word anymore, given the events that have been taking place over the past couple years, right?
I get
So
you.
I'm going to
Yes.
say circle of influence, community,
Yes.
your family. Who is
Yes.
it that you spend time with and that you really, really love spending time with? I love the video VIPs. I love you, Charlene, all of the folks that I've been able to meet and get introduced to in that space.
Yes.
And I feel like if once you find your space, so if it is, again, for people who are asking about where should I go live, if your space is not on Facebook and your space really should be YouTube, or your space should be Twitter, or your space should be Clubhouse and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
at all,
Yeah. Yeah.
try it out, experiment, and don't worry about making mistakes, because the mistakes are going to help you to grow. The more you can measure what's working and what's not. And the only way you can do that is by stepping out on faith and just trying something. The more you can do that, the more likely you'll work things out. It'll work out.
Absolutely. And that's where you can show up as your authentic self. And that's where I've been showing up as my authentic self there. And just, and I have to say that you helped me with that, because the test that we did, I can feel it. Like, peace, I wear the peacemaker, thing. And now I am like working with, I'm his eminence, the highest, priest,
Yes,
over
I
there.
saw.
And yeah, in China. So you're just like, whoa, this is so cool when you show up, so I know I'm pitching for my sister. I'm sorry, guys, but seriously, I can honestly say that, and you can go witness that. Even on my Instagram, the numbers are going up on my Instagram. And yeah, just wait till a couple of more weeks. You're going to see more, because I'm going to start doing more video, and using
Yes.
tips that you've taught me. So, I mean, Tanya, you work. I mean, you really do work. Yeah. Your
Well,
tips
thank
work, honey.
you.
We know you work, but her tips and her trainings really do work.
Girl, sometimes I work too much, but I am really thankful. Did you see, look, Donna's giving you a shout
Thank you,
out.
Donna. Thank you. She's
Charlene,
amazing, Donna. She really is. She will work you. She's a silent yeah, whipper, but she work you. She cool like that. She one of those cool cats. You don't even know you're being slapped on the back, but she got
Girl.
you. Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on and asking the question. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank
All
you.
righty, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, we're going to call it a wrap for this evening, but I love, love, love getting a chance to talk with you and to engage with you in the chat, and also to speak with Charlene. This is the power of what video and community building can do. So just think about, again, for yourself, what makes the most sense when it comes to where you are spending your time live streaming. If YouTube is your space, it's not a bad space to be. If Twitter is your space, I I think it's a great complementary space. I don't know for me that that's the space where I build any longer, but I did begin my brand building on Twitter. I think that the purpose and the objective again come into play. So you have to think about where your audience is and what you're trying to measure. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm sending all of you back love as well. Thank you. And I hope you have an amazing weekend. And I will see you again on next week. So for those of you who are in the book club, remember we're doing the visual sale. So just go into the Video VIPs community and you will see our next date. I believe it's on Tuesday. And we're going to talk about the next part, which I believe is section 4 of the book. All right, everybody, have a good night. And thanks so much for watching. Be sure, if you're not already liking and subscribing, that you're liking and subscribing to the channel wherever you're watching from. All right, take care.